Good morning, students. In our previous class, we were started the first chapter of economics, that is the story of village Palampur. And in this, we were discuss about the location of Palampur, about the factors of production, and in this, we will also discuss about how the production can increase on the same piece of land. And now, in our today's class, we will discuss about the Green Revolution, about the second factor of production, labor, the capital and non-farming activities. And first of all, we will start with the Green Revolution. Green Revolution means when the farmers started to use modern farming methods like HYV seeds, chemical fertilizers, pesticides, modern machinery, and with the help of these modern inputs, the production has been increased. So this is known as Green Revolution, and this Green Revolution occurred in India during the late 1960s. Late 1960s में जो ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन है that has been occurred in India. And first of all, the farmers of Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh, they started to use the modern inputs. First of all, the Green Revolution occurred in Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh. And the farmers of these places uses the modern inputs. And with the help of modern inputs, the production has been increased. But there are some merits and demerits of this Green Revolution. When the farmer started the modern inputs, then it had some advantage and some disadvantage. If we will discuss about the merits, then we can say the first merit is the production has been increased. सबसे मेन जो इसका हमें एडवांटेज हुआ ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन का कि इससे कंट्री में जो फूड ग्रेन की प्रोडक्शन थी वो प्रोडक्शन क्या हो गई, इंक्रीज हो गई. ठीक है. सेकेंड, टू इंश्योर फूड सिक्योरिटी कि नाउ द इंडिया became the self-sufficient in food grain. कि अब इंडिया के पास इतने फूड ग्रेन्स थे, इतना प्रोडक्शन हो रहा था कि वो अपनी कंट्री की जो फूड नीड है that has been satisfied. But now India doesn't need to import the food grain because before the Green Revolution, the production in our country is not as much as our consumption. जितनी हमारी पॉपुलेशन की कंजम्पशन रेट थी उसके अकॉर्डिंगली हमारे कंट्री में जो फूड ग्रेन है वो ग्रो नहीं हो रहा था. दैट्स व्हाई वी हैव टू इम्पोर्ट द फूड ग्रेन फ्रॉम द अदर कंट्रीज. बट व्हेन द ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन स्टार्टेड इन आवर कंट्री, द इंडिया बिकेम सेल्फ सफिशिएंट इन फूड ग्रेन which ensure food security. There is no shortage of the food grain in our country. And next advantage is, we can say, the standard of living of the farmers has been increased. Because when the farmer has sufficient amount of food grain which they can sell in the market, they started to earn profit. अब जो उनका अर्निंग है, जो उनका प्रॉफिट है, दैट हैज़ बीन इंक्रीज्ड विच रिजल्ट्स इन द इंक्रीजिंग स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ लिविंग ऑफ द फार्मर्स. तो दीज आर सम मेरिट्स ऑफ ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन, बट इट हैज़ सम डीमेरिट्स आल्सो. देयर आर सम डिसएडवांटेज ऑफ ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन आल्सो विच इज डिस्कस्ड इन आवर chapter. Here is given the heading, will the land sustain? And under this heading we will discuss about the demerits of Green Revolution. The first demerit is loss of soil fertility. When the farmers uses the modern inputs like HYV seeds, chemical fertilizers, then it results in the loss of soil fertility, because these are the artificial methods to increase the fertility of the soil. When the chemical fertilizers are used by the farmers in the field, they directly absorbed by the plants, but the soil fertility goes down and down, because when earlier the farmers used cow dung as a manure, they increases the soil fertility, but the chemical fertilizers, that is directly absorbed by the plants, which results in the loss of soil fertility. Now the second disadvantage is reduce the groundwater table, because when the farmers started to grow more than one crop in a year, 3 crops in a year, then it needs irrigation. When the farmers use these 3 crops, grow these 3 crops in a year, so then they use the groundwater to irrigate their land, which results in the reduction of groundwater table. When we use more and more groundwater to irrigate the land area, then it reduces the groundwater level. So this is also the disadvantage of green revolution. And next we can say pollution. When these pesticides, chemical fertilizers, when these modern inputs, when used by the farmers, mix up in the water bodies or in the land, then it also results in land pollution or water pollution. And next demerit of green revolution is when the farmers use pesticides to protect the crop from diseases, then sometimes it also kills the bacteria and other microorganisms which is helpful for the soil. There are some microorganisms, there are some bacteria which decomposes the fossil fuels, which are the decomposers. But when we use the pesticides, these microorganisms, these bacteria also killed. So this is also the disadvantage of green revolution. Now the next is increase the cost of cultivation. Earlier when the farmers started to use these modern inputs, these chemical fertilizers, HYV seeds, then it increases the production, but it results in the loss of soil fertility. And now the farmers are forced to use these modern inputs because the soil fertility has been decreased. No crop is grown without these modern inputs. That's why the cost of production has been increased. Now the farmer has been forced to use these modern inputs. So these are the some demerits, or we can say the disadvantage of green revolution. And now here is given the next topic. How is land distributed between the farmers of Palanpur? Earlier we were discussed about the distribution of families according to different castes. Now the land distribution in Palanpur. How much land area is have by the different families. Now we have already discussed in our previous class. There are total 450 families in Palanpur. Okay, and among these 150 families are landless. Now we discuss about the land distribution. So among 450 families, 150 families are landless which have no land area. Okay, and next there are 60 families who are medium and large farmers, mean those farmers which have 2 or more than 2 hectare land area, and the number of these families are 60 families, and the remaining 240 families are small farmers. Small farmers mean the farmers who have less than 2 hectares of land area. So this is the distribution of families in Palampur according to land. I repeat it, total 450 families, 150 families are landless which have no land area, 60 families are medium and large farmers which have 2 hectare or more than 2 hectares land area, and 240 families are small farmers which have less than 2 hectares land area. So this is the distribution of land between the farmers of Palampur. Now the second factor of production, labor. Labor means the people who will do the work. Now here is given the topic, who will provide the labor. Underline it. Small farmers along with their families cultivate their own fields. In the people who have less than 2 hectares land area, who are small farmers, they do the cultivation work by themselves. They do the agricultural activities with their family members. They are labor themselves. And next underline कीजिए, medium and large farmers hire farm laborers to work on their fields. But on the other hand, the medium and large farmers mean the farmers who have 2 hectare or more than 2 hectare land area. They hire farm laborers to work on their fields. Mean they perform the agricultural activities by hiring labor. And these farm labor either come from landless families or the families cultivating small plots. Mean those people who are landless or those who have the small piece of land. These people work as a farm laborer on the field of medium and large farmers. And these people get wages in return of their work. And these wages are paid in cash or in kind. Okay, beta? So wages can be paid in cash or in kind. Sometimes the farmers get cash payment in return of their work, and sometimes they get meals in return of their work. Sometimes they get the portion of a crop which is grown by them. Sometimes they get vegetable. So this type of payment is known as in kind. The farmers can get the wages in cash or in kind. And now the next is capital. Underline, most small farmers have to borrow money to arrange for the capital. And they borrow from large farmers or the village moneylenders or the traders who supply various inputs for cultivation. And the rate of interest on such loan is very high. It means the capital is raised by small farmers by borrowing money. They borrow money to arrange capital. Generally the small farmers borrow money, and they borrow money from moneylenders or from the traders. Trader mean the people who provide them the inputs, and sometimes they get these inputs on borrow, by borrowing money. And sometimes they borrow capital money from the large farmers. But when the small farmers borrow money, they have to pay a high rate of interest. I mean, the rate of interest charged by these people is very high, and when they doesn't repay the loan, then these people are exploited by them. तो स्मॉल फार्मर्स को क्या किया जाता है, एक्सप्लॉइट किया जाता है, उनको फोर्स किया जाता है टू सेल देयर लैंड एरिया, टू सेल द पीस ऑफ लैंड और टू डू द वर्क एज अ फार्म लेबरर ऑन द फील्ड ऑफ लार्ज फार्मर्स. So these are the some demerits when they borrow money from these people, from money lenders, from large farmers or from traders. But the capital, generally the capital arranged by the small farmers through the borrowing, because they didn't have the savings. Okay, they didn't have the savings. That's why they have to borrow money to arrange capital. But on the other hand, underline it, the medium and large farmers have their own savings from farming, and they are thus able to arrange for the capital needed. It means generally the medium and large farmers, they people have the savings from farming, and they use this saving to arrange the capital. Mean the medium and large farmers arrange capital from their savings. And now the next heading is sale of surplus farm laborers. Surplus farm products. Mean generally the small farmers, the production of the small farmer is low because they have a small piece of land. That's why the production of small farmer is generally low, and they have a very little surplus, or we can say they only grow for their own consumption. Generally the surplus production is gone by the medium and large farmers. In medium and large farmer, they have the surplus farm products, and this surplus farm product is sold by the medium and large farmers in cities or to the traders. When the traders or the shopkeepers purchase these surplus farm products from the large and medium farmers, and by selling the surplus product, the medium and large farmers gain earning. They get the profit from farming, and they use this profit, this saving for the capital in next season. Okay, and now next is non-farming activities in Palampur. Beside farming, there are some people in Palampur which are engaged in non-farming activities. We have earlier discussed near about 75% people in Palampur engage in farming activities. Mean they perform the farming work. They do the agricultural activities. But some people, the 25% people in Palampur, they perform non-farming activities. And these non-farming activities are first dairy farming. Dairy farming means some people rear the cattle, and they sold the milk of the cattle in towns. The nearby town is Shahpur, and the traders of Shahpur purchase the milk from these people which are engaged in dairy farming. Now the second non-farming activity is small scale manufacturing. Means some people, less than 50 people in Palampur are engaged in small scale farming, and this farming is done in Palampur by simple production methods. Mean they they produce the goods or they manufacture the goods in the field or in their home by the family members. Mean by using the simple methods. Mean the production is done on a small scale, generally at their home or in the field by their family members. So when the some people are engaged in the manufacturing activities, but this is done on a small scale. Now the next is shopkeeping. Mean some people in Palampur are shopkeepers, and these people involved in trade. Trade means exchange of goods. Mean in Palampur, some people sell some products like rice, wheat, sugar, tea, oil, biscuits, soap, toothpaste, batteries, candles, etc. And some families whose houses are close to the bus stand, they used the outer part of their house as a shops, and generally they use this shop to sell the eatables. So some people in Palampur are engaged in the business of are the shopkeepers. Okay, are engaged in the trading activities. Now the fourth non-farming activity in Palampur is transport. Some people are engaged in transportation activities. Underline it. There are variety of vehicles on the road connecting Palampur to Raiganj. Rickshawalas, tongawalas, jeep, tractor, truck driver, and people driving the traditional bullock carts and bogies are people in the transport services. Mean in Palampur, some people are the rickshawalas, tongawalas. Mean they ferry the people from one place to another, and they also help the people to transport the goods from one place to another, and in return they get some payment. So this is the another non-farming activity which is performed in Palampur, that is transportation. So these are the four non-farming activities which are performed by the people in Palampur. And with this your chapter has been completed. और बेटा आप अच्छे से चैप्टर को रीड करोगे, एंड इफ़ यू हैव एनी क्वेरी, अगर कोई भी आपकी क्वेरी है, अगर कुछ भी आपको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, देन यू कैन आस्क इन डाउट क्लियरिंग सेशन.